All right, good evening, everyone.
And the two attorneys are here and ready to go.
Good evening, everyone. Let's get started and call the regular meeting of the governing board to order. Let the record show that we have 4 of 5 board members present. Mr. Aldama is not able to make it this evening, and we'll begin with a moment of silence. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we don't have any call to the public, so we'll move right into our special recognition. Our first one is...
I will move to adopt our agenda.
I'll second. Good idea. Let's do that.
And then student performance.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. But was there any changes to the agenda?
Mrs. Wilson, members of the board, good evening. No changes at this time.
Good. All right. So we'll move to the special recognition. Mr. Quintana?
Yes, Mrs. Wilson, members of the governing board, this evening we are pleased to have 4th grade through 8th grade choir students from Bicentennial North School here to perform under the direction of Mr. Nicholas Haley and Miss Regina Kageman. And welcome. And if you'd like, we'll make our way down to the audience.
But we'd like to thank you for allowing us to come and perform for you.
got me feeling like ooh. I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like ooh. And then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh na 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 na, Havana, ooh na na. I know my heart is in Havana, ooh na na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na na na. All of my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana, Havana, ooh na na. Jeffrey just graduated, fresh on campus. Fresh out East Atlanta, it's so fresh out East Atlanta. Bum 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 like a traffic jam. Hey, I was to pay the girl like Uncle Sam. Thinking on me, shawty cribbing on me, get to digging on me. She waiting on me, shawty kicking on me, get to baking on me. This is history I'm making on me. Point blank, close range, that be. If it costs $1 million, that's me. I was getting moolah, baby. Havana, ooh na na. I know my heart is in Havana, ooh na na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na na na. Oh, but my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana, Havana, ooh na na. Take me back, 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 back. Oh na na na. Take me back, 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 back. Oh na na na. Take me back, 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 back. Oh na na na. Take me back, 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 back. Oh na na. I know my heart is in Havana, oh na na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na na na. All of my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana, Havana, oh na na.
We'd like to thank you very much for coming and sharing some time with us this evening, and we'll let those district people get to business. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
You got this? Don't knock them out of the way. Don't knock them out of the way. Well, we have to do a little traditional and a little, stuff, so thank you so much. All right, we are now at item 4B, school recognition.
Mrs. Wilson, members of the governing board, this evening the governing board will recognize Coyote Ridge School for the highest teacher attendance rate from December 18th through February 2nd, 2018. I know that we were anticipating one of the two administrators to be here to accept the plaque, but due to unforeseen reasons, they're not able to be here, and Carol Lettieri will accept the plaque on their behalf. Congratulations. Please pass that on to Leaderman.
All right, and we do have another school recognition as well.
Yes, Mrs. Wilson, members of the board, we obviously know how important student attendance is, and this evening the governing board will recognize Bicentennial North School for the second consecutive time period for the highest student attendance rate from December 18th through February 2nd, 2018. And again, they received the award last period that we looked at. So I think Ms. Rodriguez is here. Please thank your staff for their commitment and being there every day. Congratulations. Okay.
And congratulations to both schools. All right, we are now at our consent agenda. Are there any items that board members would like pulled? Okay, hearing none, I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We don't have any reports and information items, so we'll move right to our action items, which A is revised out-of-state recruitment trips.
Yes, Mrs. Wilson, members of the governing board, it is recommended that the governing board approve the proposed revisions to out-of-state teacher recruitment trips, including participation in job fairs specified and the corresponding out-of-county state travel for employees scheduled to attend.
Does anyone have any questions, comments? All right, can I get a motion to approve the revised out-of-state recruitment trips?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. And our discussion item is the governing board self-evaluation. So let's see.
Mrs. Wilson, members of the board, if I may, I believe that it was a board meeting or two back, we were asked to gather additional information from the representatives at ASBA related to the service that they're able to provide related to our self-evaluation, and bring that information back to you so that the governing board can make decisions regarding next steps. And we seek your direction at this time.
So we do have an explanation here, and I don't know if all the board members had a chance to read it. And do we want to open the discussion?
Yeah, the only thing that I want to discuss on this one is this the fee that for normally when they come in and they do any of our workshops?
I'm sorry. Members of the board, Ms. Powell has informed me that there have been some recent changes in their pay structure, so this has not been what we've been paying in the past. And just to further clarify, if the governing board chooses to secure their services to come in and facilitate a discussion regarding this self-evaluation, we certainly can do the 2-hour session, and if we feel that that discussion was adequate, we can certainly stop at that point. And if the governing board feels that more time and more discussion is necessary, then we can secure the additional 2 hours beyond that, and that's certainly optional.
So what we're seeing here is not the correct fee?
No, it is the correct fee, but I believe the fees are higher than they were in the past, than what they were in the past.
I feel that fee's too high. I really do. I can't see them coming in for 4 hours and doing it at that price. And for the person that's conducting it, I do not know that they have that type of expertise either. And this is a pilot. I can't see doing this. I mean, I would like to do it, and I think that the process would be good from what we've had. But like I said, that price is just outrageous to me.
I guess the main thing that I wanted to see was that deeper information so that we could actually figure out where we have gaps to establish our goals.
So what are you thinking?
So I don't.
An hour, or are you for or against the?
I do want to sit down, but I want to sit down and find out what that deeper information is. And I don't know that we can get that without paying them something.
No, I think we could,
Yeah.
Mrs. Wilson, members of the board, if I may, we can certainly explore other possibilities that may be acceptable to the board as far as facilitation of this discussion and possibly going a different direction or route and how we go about that if you'd like us to do that and
Yeah, if you
bring
could.
back some suggestions that you can consider.
Yeah, if you could be in
Find out what the
contact
fee
with
is.
them and ask them if there is any other options there.
Okay.
Especially since we're a pilot.
Yeah,
You know, I'm like, their services aren't worth that at this time.
because they've not done it either.
No.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Madam President, I think one of the things I would find interesting is to see what other districts have gone through with this deeper delving and found out if they felt it.
I think there was only one other district that was
Yeah.
piloting. There was us and another.
Yeah, there were only two of us. And
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. Either that or we scrap this all together and go back to what we were originally doing.
Well, if we can at least, at the very least, find out, because they did say that there is a fee for getting that extra information. If that's $100 to get that at least can get us on a conversation. And we can look at our own information.
Yeah, so if maybe you could be in contact with them and see, tell them what we're looking at, that we just want to, get a little deeper into what was the results that we got back.
I'm more than happy to do that.
All right, so right now, at this time, the governing board will consider voting to recess the regular meeting in order to convene to executive session for the following purposes. Attorney consultation in accordance with ARS 38-431.03 Article 4 for discussion, consultation with the attorneys of the public body to consider its position and instruct its attorneys regarding the public body's position related to pending or contemplated litigation. I will need a motion to move into or to recess.
I'll move to go to exec session.
I'll second.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, can I get a motion to reconvene to public session?
I'll move to reconvene.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. We are at future meetings and events.
Mrs. Wilson, members of the governing board, just a reminder that on February 22nd, a special meeting, we do plan to provide a presentation regarding related arts innovations that we are considering and may propose, and also a marketing plan development. I also want to alert the governing board that I may respectfully request between now and that date a special telephonic board meeting. We're working hard, and I believe you saw at least a couple of individual teachers who had submitted resignation letters that have changed their minds and are choosing to stay with the district in order to meet certain timelines and to get them back on board, so to speak. If we anticipate and are hoping that we'll have additional individuals that may change their minds, then we may ask for a brief telephonic board meeting to accept the rescinding of their resignations and to get your permission to issue them contracts. And that may or may not occur.
Do you know about when that would happen?
Maybe middle of next week, if that were to end of next week, but it just kind of depends, right? When we would potentially ask for a special meeting if we get more rescinded resignations.
I would put it off as long as I could to try to give as many people the opportunity.
Okay.
So maybe that Monday or Tuesday of the building, and then that would give us enough time to turn it around and offer contracts for them.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay, just let us know.
Okay.
I think we had talked about at some point putting A and B of 11 together.
Okay.
So maybe next time we could
Combining A and B list.
combine A and B of number 11. Okay. But we will move to B. So is there any item requests from governing board members at this time?
Kind of. It's already on our future meeting calendar. We have our our retreat for development of strategic goals. Can we get that on the calendar? Like a date set and let's make it happen?
Mr. Aldama is not here, so we can do a tentative date between us, and then we can check with him.
That's fine, Mrs. Wilson.
Are we looking at adding that on to a meeting? Like maybe beginning early? Or were you thinking of a separate time?
I don't know. It depends on how long it takes us to get something accomplished.
Okay.
I mean, if we could do it before a meeting, but I would think that we would have to, I don't know. What's where I'm at?
I think we've done a variety of things. I know that in the past we've done, and I'm not proposing this, but we have had 2-3 hour sessions on a Saturday morning. We've also done, again, before a board meeting. So we've done a variety of things. I don't think that we've had one standard approach. So I based on time constraints and other commitments that individuals may have, we are certainly flexible in working whatever the governing board would prefer.
Well, maybe we can get a couple of those options in place and then think about it, and then maybe Liz can get back to us after she's spoken with Mr. Aldama. But let's maybe pick out a Saturday and also look at maybe beginning a couple of hours early before one of our regular meetings. And
so look at both options, and then check with everyone to see what calendar looks like and which of the two options works best for everyone, and then report back to the board.
Right.
Okay.
So let's look at a Saturday. Are there any Saturdays that board members would not be able to?
I cannot do the 17th.
Okay, 17th is
17th's not a Saturday in April?
April.
17th, 24th,
Wait a minute,
23rd.
are you in
April.
Oh, you're in March.
No, I'm in March.
Go to April.
So,
Mrs. Wilson, members of the board, I'm certainly not advocating for waiting, especially if there's a sense of urgency here. Just a reminder that we are attending the national conference also in early March, and I don't know if there may or may not be a benefit to having a session workshop after that based on some of the new learning and other I guess we come back inspired and motivated, and whether or not that is something to consider and factor in to our scheduling, just something to think about.
Yeah, that NSBA is the first week in April, so.
April, I'm sorry, why am I thinking March?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Also, that it would be really good to, if we had, some of our fresh ideas ready, on the 14th, and then, we'd be ready to discuss.
Does everybody have 14th open?
14th is open.
I'm open.
I do, okay. So let's ask Mr. Aldama if he'd be available on the 14th of April, do a morning. Is everybody in agreement for morning, or is afternoon preferable?
Morning.
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 Okay, we're all in agreement for morning.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, then I guess we could just attach it to beginning a couple hours early for one of the regular meetings, and check with Mr. Aldama and see if he would be able to do that.
We have a meeting that week, we come back, so we could do it possibly that Thursday.
Okay, that would
The 12th.
that'd be the 12th. Okay. So would everybody be able to make it a couple hours, or say 3:30?
Yes.
On the 12th, I
On the
would be able
12th?
to.
Okay, then let's see if Mr. Aldama would be able to make that as well. Okay. All right, we are now at the summary of current events. Mr. Quintana, you want to start with the report?
Mrs. Wilson, members of the board, I'll be brief. Again, I just want to thank everyone for their hard work and commitment. We continue to make progress, and we know that everyone's working hard, and that we're seeing progress in embracing the structures that we're putting in place to positively impact student achievement. I also just want to mention that today I had the opportunity to accept an invitation by Valley Interfaith, the Valley Interfaith group, and I was one of 3 superintendents that sat in on that participated in a panel with 45 faith-based leaders from around the city who wanted to know more and learn more about how the funding cuts are impacting not only students but impacting school districts and staff and others. And I participated in that this morning, and I know that Mrs. Wilson and Mrs. Bartels were able to attend as well, and Mrs. Wilson is quite active with that group, and I felt that it went well, and the information that we were able to share and the discussion that we participated in was well received by those in attendance.
All right, Ms. Smith?
I am attending a meeting tomorrow in downtown. It's a meeting with an organization called Reconvene, and they're actually starting an app. It's like in the beginning process that would put together all sorts of services that are available for our refugees, and so something that I think I'll share once I learn a little bit more tomorrow about it.
Yeah, interesting. Ms. Bartels?
I think one of the takeaways today that I got was, when somebody at the legislature says we're going to increase funding by $100 million in our district and our high school district that we feed into combined have lost nearly $80 million since the recession, people look at that number and they think that's a lot of money, and they don't realize that that has to go statewide. So I think all of us need to do a better job of educating people as to what those dollars really do look like at a school, in a district, you know, and how that's used and how it equates.
Ms. Pimentel?
I'll tack on with what Mrs. Bartel said, and if you guys are watching the legislature, I'm at work, you're at work, look into signing up for the Request to Speak system. It's very important, and you can have your voice heard, and if there's a certain bill that you don't agree with or that you do agree with, you can sign on through your phone, through your computer, and the more names that they have to listen to you. So that's one thing. If you want to get more information, I can give you information where to go, or if you can just look at the legislature, azleg.gov, and you can get information on how to sign up for that. It's just so important that we are all here for our community and for our children. And one other thing, real quick, I saw in the Glendale Star a couple weeks ago, there was the Glendale Rotary honored 3 students. One of them was Morgan McClellan. She's a senior at Apollo, and she has a 4.8 GPA. She's the top 1% of her class. She's also in junior ROTC and choir, and she's taking 4 AP classes this year. And she plans on attending ASU. There's also Maria Sanchez, and she's a senior at Glendale. She plans on going to NAU. She holds a 4.55 GPA, and she's ranked 5th in her class. And she's part of Glendale High School's Rotary Interact Club, and her hobby is learning foreign languages. I can barely speak one, so I think that's pretty awesome. The last one was one that really stuck out to me. Her name is Jemima Siklavan, and she's a senior at Independence. She's one of 11 children. I can't speak for Morgan or Maria, but I can tell you about Jemima. She's my neighbor, and she's had a little bit of a rough coming this year for the family, but she has a 4.0 GPA, and she's ranked #1 at Independence High School, and she went to Coyote Ridge. And I can't speak about the other 2. I don't know what elementary school they went to, but Jemima did. And I wanted to give her a little bit of recognition. She may never know that I did it. I wanted to recognize all of these students, but she and her brothers and her sisters have come out so far, and they're all products of the Glendale Elementary School District and all the hard work that you all do. So her academic success is your academic success. So I just wanted to shout it out.
Good. Yeah, thank you. That's great. All right. As usual, I echo everyone else, so we'll just move along, and I will need a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Have a nice evening.